Lesson number 1. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The author's introduction, or introduction to the author. Imam Ahmad Dardir was a great imam in the sciences of Islam. He was a master of Maliki fiqh and a master of the sciences of Aqidah and one of the great revivers of the spiritual path and distinguished in numerous other Islamic sciences. His full name is Ahmad ibn Ahmad ibn Abi Khamid Al-Dardir Al-Adawi Al-Maliki Al-Azhari Al-Khalwati. He was Maliki of Madhab, Azhari of study. He studied and graduated in his studies from Al-Azhar in Cairo, and he was Khalwati of spiritual path. He was born in the year 1127 after the Hijrah in Bani Adiyin in the Sa'id of Misr, and Bani Adi are from the progeny of the great companion and second Khalifa of Islam, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be well pleased with him. And most of his forefathers were Maliki of Madhab. As a child, he memorized the Quran and mastered Tajweed and started learning, and he had great yearning for knowledge, so he was sent to Al-Azhar, to Jami' Al-Azhar, and attended the lessons of the great scholars there, and studied and distinguished himself in studies. And he studied under some of the great authorities of his time, such as Imam Al-Mallawi and Al-Jawhari and others. But the two main teachers that he had a very, very strong attachment to, he studied under numerous scholars of his time, but the two people he benefited the most from were Shaykh Ali Al-Sa'idi, whom he took fiqh from, and Shamsuddin Al-Hifni. And he was not only his teacher, but also his spiritual guide on the spiritual path. And Imam Ahmad Al-Dardir became a successor to Shamsuddin Al-Hifni in the Khalwati tariqah, in the Khalwati spiritual path. And Imam Dardir himself is considered one of the great revivers of the Khalwati tariqah, leaving behind numerous students and great works in this noble spiritual path. And Imam Ahmad Dardir wrote a number of very important works, amongst them a commentary in Maliki fiqh on Mukhtasar al-Khalil. And Mukhtasar al-Khalil is one of the seminal books of Maliki fiqh, and he limited himself to the most relied upon opinions. And he himself, Imam Ahmad Dardir, wrote a commentary in Maliki fiqh, wrote a matn in Maliki fiqh called Aqrabul Masalik, and then he wrote a commentary on it, and there's a number of super commentaries on it, such as by his distinguished student Imam Ahmad Dardir and others. And he wrote also in the science of Aqidah. He wrote a number of short works in it, and also amongst them this poem Al-Kharid Al-Bahiyya, which we will describe shortly. And he himself wrote a commentary on this work, and there's numerous super commentaries on it, as we shall see. Then he also wrote in the sciences of Tasawwuf, amongst his works being a work on the proper manners of those who know Allah. And he compiled a number of poems in Tasawwuf, and also a number of poems related to invoking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a beautiful poem that's been commented upon by a number of scholars on the most beautiful names of Allah, on Al-Asma Al-Husna. So he wrote extensively, and he was distinguished, as you could probably tell from his being a master of the spiritual path, not only by the extensiveness of his knowledge, but by having noble character and a kind temperament, and being a person of piety and practice of his knowledge. And this really distinguished him And he was without doubt the the top Maliki scholar of his time. Once his own teacher, Shaykh Ali Sa'idi, passed away, Shaykh Ahmad Dardir took his place as the Shaykh of the Malikis of his time. And he held a number of distinguished positions. And in the year 1201, he fell ill, and as a result of that illness, he passed away. So he lived from 1127 to 1201 by the Hijri calendar. So he lived about 74 years, rahimahullah ta'ala. And he left behind great students and great works, and one of these great works, his work Al-Khalid al-Bahiyya, is what we're looking at. Now the Khalid al-Bahiyya, he himself describes that